What up, what up, what up? Oh, that's weird. Oh, there you go. I couldn't see Chopper, so. I'm just practicing, like inversions and stuff. There's nothing in the frame. I'm just, my posture's really bad. Yeah, I gotta fix my posture. I really got that kind of thing. But I got on, what is it? I got on, fuck off, man. I got on, Augmented Triad, so I'm just gonna finish that up. I'm just kind of like, that would be an Augmented Triad, and then I'm just kind of going with this, making sure that I can just get cognition of the inversions in my head. I do this where like, you take like each permutation or example of something and you just do it at least once. So you just sort of build the cognition in your head, kind of thing. I did this like C already, but I'm gonna check, just start again. It's a major third, it's a major third, well, a major triad, that you sharp the fifth, basically. That's weird, that's a C augmented in like the what is it, G sharp augmented in second inversion is C sharp augmented in first inversion, it's the same thing. And this is probably the same relation stuff that you have with modes, right? Where like, each mode is basically the same as every other scale. That kind of thing. It's funny, like, I remember I was making these videos 2 years ago now. They were just like me, almost like hitting random notes on the piano just to see what would happen. And it's funny, it does get views, it does get some likes, which is better than nothing. And if you think of that as like dollars, it's like you're making like small, like $10 here, $5 there, even though this doesn't really translate into money. But if you keep getting those views, then yeah, it can translate into money. But it's very funny that that was actually happening. Um, so I think and that's like a good way of like you're just like trying out things, and I notice that a lot of creativity is just like you just try shit out. Like, oh, what would happen if I do this? Or like that's cool, or I want to do something that's like this, so you just try it, or you try to do it, um, and it's just like based off of your own taste and like whatever comes to you. Um, but it's interesting. Um, I have a bias for doing this by ear because I have a pretty good ear, but I'm trying to actually understand it. Like instead of like I can just figure out by ear because it sounds wrong, but like trying to have cognition, like okay, A major triad and you show up the fifth, and you know how it's constructed. It's stacked major thirds, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones apart. You can count. Okay. Yeah, pipes thing. I saw a video of someone that just like really slowed down the Mario pipe sound and power up sound, and it's actual notes on the piano. I mean, everything's actual notes if you can do that, kind of. I guess I don't know, but you can actually like slow it down and get the exact notes that they hit, and then just like learn how to play them and just play really fast, and it's the same exact sound. Like in terms of notes, it sounds like it. You just have to play it fast enough. And it might be like kind of inhuman. Like I think the power up sound is really, really fast. The one up sound is not. When I get really good at writing jingles, you could probably just like study every jingle that you hear, every jingle that you like, because that's a jingle, you know, and you can kind of figure out. And same thing with like sound effects, because sound effects are kind of they can be atonal, you know, it's all just noise, it's all just vibration. And it's the same thing for whatever you want to study. When I get really good at writing rock music, you find rock that you like. You figure out how they're doing everything. Try to do recreations, your own versions, remixes, and then like you can make your own stuff. And you can go more specific. If it's classic rock, if it's prog rock, if it's like 80s prog or 70s prog versus like you know now prog, like 2020s prog or 2010s prog. Um, or like if it's prog metal, you can do that. Um, Like for me, I really like chiptune, so I can probably just like study a lot of chiptune songs and try to figure it out. And the idea of doing that sounds really exhausting, but I guess you just have to start. But if it's too exhausting and really just want to start making music, you could just start making music, I guess, and see what happens. And like I want it to be like a chiptune. You just kind of like try to do that with what you know. If you can't figure it out, just look it up and just keep looking up stuff. Look up YouTube tutorials. Um, Try to do recreations of other people's music and it's that kind of thing. It's the same thing. We just kind of have to do the work. And I noticed, like for me, I had a lot of issues with like the follow through on that because I just get really easily overwhelmed and kind of give up and just sort of surf the internet. I started taking this shit. Um, L-tyrosine. Ask your doctor. I'm not a doctor. Okay, that's a disclaimer. But so I don't get sued or whatever. But um, it gets, from what I understand, it gets converted into a few neurotransmitters and also dopamine. And dopamine is the chemical of motivation, not reward. It's a reward-seeking chemical. I think it just makes you basically want to do things. Um, and I think I had a lot of trouble with that. I also like my diet was really poor for like most of my life, and I also like never exercised. I was just very low energy, that kind of thing. And coffee can help with that for sure. But if you have problems with this, then maybe you'll notice that something like that can help. But I noticed too, like I just started working out. I stopped and started working out a few times in my life. I just never really got fully into it because I just didn't identify as like this athletic person, and I'm like I'm a creative person. I want to be creative, and I kind of like the idea of like bed rotting, or not like bed rotting, but just like sitting at home, like never leaving, and just hanging on my computer making stuff. But um, especially as I get older, I feel like I need to work out. I need to exercise uh, because my brain is slowing down, which is really sad. Like I'm 32 right now, which I hate saying because I wanted to do YouTube when I was like 20 or younger. But um, yeah, like, but just like working out a little bit, um, and like you don't want to like drive yourself crazy. But I'm just like doing like what I'm weak at, like trying to build upper body strength. I've gotten better at like lifting myself off the ground and that kind of thing, which is really cool. Um, so I was checking out something. Um, uh, yeah, and I was doing that by like just kind of slowly like feeling out little bits of my muscles in like my upper body, my arms, and trying to like target weaknesses and stuff like that. And I feel like even though I'm not doing it like all the time, and I like stopped for a while, I feel like it did increase some like baseline strength, like maybe like internally, like internal muscles and that kind of thing. Um, that have made it kind of easier to like lift myself off the ground, like upper body, instead of just doggedly doing the push-up motion all the time. Because it was kind of like hurting. I maybe like I'm not an expert yet, but I see like these calisthenics people, and they're much more focused on like all these like different movements and this kind of thing, as opposed to just like one movement. And I think their bodies look very beautiful. Like I see a lot of these guys that do a lot of calisthenics, and to me it looks very aesthetically pleasing versus like just like massive muscles that almost look like kind of bulky, that maybe are functional, but or not. But like it's kind of like training for aesthetics thing. I do think that that's kind of nice. And calisthenics kind of seems like a good marriage of those two. Like you're really working at like everything in your body, like all these different things, and people get like really flexible. They do all these crazy things. They do handstands and stuff, and I think their bodies look good too. Some of the guys that I've seen. Um, but so maybe that's kind of what I've been doing, sort of take like a little bit of that kind of approach, where it's more like an art and like you figure out how to do these different movements and slowly build yourself up like atomically versus like just push yourself, just do it. Because that's one of the big things I hated about working out and exercise. Like you gotta just shove your feelings down and force yourself to do it. And like I like my feelings. I'm an artist. We're supposed to have access to those things and express them, and that shit stresses me out. I don't like suppressing my feelings or emotions. If I don't feel good, I don't feel good. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. I want to figure out what's going on and that kind of thing. And there's so much beauty in depth of emotion too, gorgeousness where you can just like feel good just by sitting there, um, you know. And that's not something I want to let go of. Um, but yeah, let me finish this up. I think I did that already. I was doing that. Cool. Cognition. There you go. And I think I did major seven chords inversions. So there's three inversions of those: first, second, third. Whereas triads only have first and second. Um, it's that kind of numbers because there's three notes versus 3 note chords versus 4 note chords. And there's 5-note chords too, so like what? So that's a 9 chord. So those would have 4 inversions. I guess you're just. Oh, that's weird. Because it goes above the octave. But it does make. You can do it. So that's the first inversion. That's how you get these really cool cluster chords that I really like playing. And then. That's an interesting way to think about it, because like normally I just kind of, but you can think of this as like, this isn't just like a random cluster chord. This is a C major 9 in third or fourth inversion. First, second, third, right? That's that. So, and then it's first inversion, second inversion, third inversion. That's third inversion. Oh, so that's a C major 9 in fourth inversion. Beautiful. Second, third, fourth. So that is, yeah, this is fourth C major 9, fourth inversion. It's fun because that almost sounds like a video game confirmation thing. Like when you're starting a game, like a new file in a game, you hear that jingle like once. And get the timing right. So much of like success that I see seems to just be people who just doggedly keep doing it. Like they just don't give up. And I see these people who are like, they tried it and it just didn't work out or whatever. Oh yeah, I tried something else. But the people who like really do well at something, they don't stop. You know, they just keep going for like years until it fucking works. And then it's like, man, I wish I did that. It's like, yeah, you could have. You gotta keep going. And I noticed that with like things that I've done or not have done, or that have not done, you know. And Sorry, I was typing something. Um, being a pervert. But yeah, it's like I was just watching an interview with Mr. Beast, and it was kind of cheesy, but like he just kept fucking doing it for years, and now he's making no money. And I think like for me, like I've done that for some things, but for other things, I just like don't do something long enough to like really see results. Um, and I will keep coming back to it, which is good. But I think I just need to kind of stick with it a little bit more, like keep trying, and even if it seems like all hope is lost, just keep trying. You know, even if other people are really mad at you. Anyway, I'm gonna do 7 chords. So 9 is what is it? Because I mean you can do that too. I mean there's only 2 in 1 inversion. So, it's interesting cognition because that's like an interval. But I see them as chords because I see a chord as like if there's more than one note playing at the same time. I don't believe the whole, oh, that's not a chord. It's like, fuck you. It sounds like a chord. It has the same effect. It just adds a little bit more if you have the fifth, but like, it sounds the same. It's really similar. It's really stupid to not think of that as a chord because the psychological effect is the same. Yeah, I mean, so they have one note, one inversion. Wait. Yeah, it's just one inversion. And then first, second, so there's 2 inversions, and then there's 3 inversions or 4-note chords. Yeah, and then for 5-note chords, there's 4 inversions. That's cool. And then there's 11 chords too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going through and like really breaking it down and having cognition of all the little bits and pieces of something can really make you feel like an expert. It's like you're exploring every tiny atom. And I did that with computer science. I have to take a piss, but I did that with programming. I really like went into minutia a lot of stuff, and it's kind of slow, but you do get really good, and you feel like you have a solid grasp on something. Like a big thing about confidence is just like really trying to do those things and like really understanding every nook and cranny about it, and then also practicing it too. So and you feel like oh, I feel kind of shaky like doing like a 9th chord or 11th chord or something. So you just kind of play them and you figure out and you understand it and you do it and you listen to it, you taste the fucking thing if you can taste it, you feel it out, you write it down, you write notes, you transcribe it, you do it on your computer, you write a song like there's all these different things you can do to like more deeply learn something. So you feel confident, and it depends on your goals too. If your goals are like you just want to get really good at playing other people's songs, then that's that's a pretty easy way to figure that out. If you want to write, it's a bit harder because you're creating art, and there's magic involved, and I think that's why people who create original music really get the big bucks because if they can create something amazing, pretty awesome. I'm distracted. So it's 7. Yeah, dominant 7. I just wanted to do the augmented. I'll do that later. I'm gonna work out. Give me a second. I used to get really pissed off at people that like worked out and shit, but now I realize like you should.
Got in.
So I'm just being really lazy.